Hello, Horace Henshaw here, host of Footprints of Pacifica. Every week we get together to discover Pacifica, its lure and its lore, and its character and its characters. Tonight we're here at Nick's Restaurant in Pacifica, where we're commemorating the 50th anniversary of the Terra Nova baseball team. Started in 1961 and up until this present time, 50 years of baseball have been played at Terra Nova. Throughout the evening, we're going to be talking to the coaches and players who have made history at Terra Nova. We're talking to Mike Mooney. Mike is a former Terra Nova baseball star athlete, and tonight at the commemorative anniversary event, he's going to be the master of ceremonies. Mike, how did all this come about that we're doing this?
Well, look at it this way. We got a lot of kids who played at Terra Nova, took a lot from the program, maybe made a career out of the confidence they earned at being a Terra Nova ball player. And so as we were talking at some of those Pacifica Sports Hall of Fame dinners, we said, you know what? If it's the 50th anniversary, let's do something different. Let's step out, make it something special. So we started passing the word around at the last Hall of Fame dinner in February. Rich Montelucci got the band. Joey Gentile, the head coach, said, I'm going to promote it around town. I promoted it through my whole alumni list and reached out to all the guys from the late 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. And they're all coming tonight, and I don't think this room at Nick's is I think it's going to be busting at the seams.
But when I said to him, I said, hey, Coach Coyle, we're doing a 50th anniversary of Terra Nova baseball. We've had alumni games since 79. You know, after that championship year in 1978, in case any of you were wondering. But what happened was, all Coach Coyle said is it's about time. We wouldn't all be here if we didn't get a little something from playing baseball at Terra Nova. We all took a little something there from playing there. We either had a good time, we improved our confidence, we went on and played in college. Who knows, some of us even played pro ball, not me, but hey, we had a good time. So there's nothing wrong with giving back to the program. So the Pacifica Sports Hall of Fame said, hey, if it's the 50th anniversary, let's do something special. So we get on the phone and we invite the coaches, and the funny part is we got every single coach except one. I got a message from him, but we have all the coaches here from the history of Terra Nova baseball. And so it's just, what we thought we'd do the agenda is we have all the coaches here, except one, and that's Roger Miller. But we're going to introduce each coach. Each coach is going to go ahead and hopefully have something to say. Maybe they've already started. But we want them to share a story about what it was like coaching during their era. Maybe share a funny story. Talk about players that were very special, maybe a special game, or something that's very funny that happened. There are a lot of people in here that experienced one of those funny stories themselves. They're welcome to come up and share them on. So, the first coach, first a message from our sponsor. We do need to thank, did Bobby Downing wake up from his nap yet? Okay. We do need to thank Montegrano and Bobby Downing for all these wonderful prizes. Obviously a Budweiser sign, and some of the other wonderful gifts. That's actually Eric Mooney's jersey. It smells like it. But Bobby Downing did a great job of bringing all the beer for some of you over 21 alumni, and he got a lot of these gifts. All right, but Nick's did donate a certificate for a dinner we're going to raffle off and a bottle of champagne. So here we go. The first year of Terra Nova baseball was 1961. Now, I was one then, but Roger Miller was the coach. He was the only coach that was not here to make it, so I'm going to go ahead and read a message from Roger. So, hey, has anybody in here played in 1961? Look at that, yeah. And if you don't recognize Bud Bresnahan and Marty Coyle, they loved it so much, they ended up making a career out of working at Terra Nova. All right, so Roger says, I really regret that I'm unable to attend tonight's celebration. If I were there, I would want to thank the players who gave their best efforts for a successful season. Also to the families and the youth baseball coaches for their skillful teaching and encouragement for their teammates to do the best at each game. Thanks too to Joey Genitilia for his planning of the event and my wishes for a great season and for many years to come. Many thanks to the Terra Nova coaches for their teaching skills and dedication. That's from Roger Miller, Pacifica Sports Hall of Fame, but he's not here. Now most of you have the agenda in your hand. You know, I can hear Bobby Hinch a mile away. Can you? All right. But our first speaker did coach Terra Nova baseball from 1965 to 1970. I never met him till today, but he's got some great stories to tell. And I also want to thank him. He made a very nice donation to Terra Nova baseball and the Pacifica Sports Hall of Fame. Our first coach who's going to share some stories, Al Pagoni.
Al, how did you get to Terra Nova?
Well, in 1961, I was doing my credential work at San Francisco State University, and I knew Floyd Ganella from high school, same area in the Colma area, and I happened to see Floyd one day back at the cemetery or somewhere where he was delivering flowers. He said, "Al, do you have a job yet?" No, and he was at Terra Nova. He was going to Terra Nova, and he said, "Well, come and see me." And the rest is, I got there in '61, fall of '61.
How did you connect with the baseball program?
Well, I always wanted to coach baseball. It just happened that in 1964, the football position and the baseball position were open. And Floyd Ganella was still there as director of athletics. And he said, "Al, you have a choice." Here it was, I was about 27 or 28, whatever I was. He said, "You can be the head football coach or the baseball coach." And I didn't hesitate, and I just said, "I'll take baseball." And that was in 1965.
Now, the most famous year that Terra Nova baseball's early years had was that 1969 team when you became the Central Coast Section champions. How did that go, and what's your memories, the fond memories of that year?
That year, I mean, that team really, it struggled. In this sense, that we had lost 7 games that year total, and I think we had lost in practice before the league started. We had lost 3 games, I believe. We lost 1 in our tournament, and we lost 3 in league, but 6. So we must have lost 4, I guess, before the league started. The league starts. We beat Westmore 2-0. And then we lose to Jefferson 4-0 because they won the championship as well as us. And then we lose to Half Moon Bay 8-1. So we had to win almost every game after that, and we did. We won 8 out of 9. Jeff happened to lose 1, and we tied Jefferson. But it was really a struggle. I had to win almost every game to tie Jefferson.
How great is this night tonight commemorating 50 years of baseball for Terra Nova?
Oh, it's wonderful because these young men that I've seen so far, they're all doing so well, and they were good people then, and how would you know then how they would turn out? But they've all turned out so well. Ones I've kept in touch with, they've been really good. I talked to Mike Rawlings a couple days ago. St. Mike, they really haven't changed that much. Some of them look like their dads, like Bill Downing and Bobby Downing.
Yeah.
And Gary Hernandez here. Gary had, here's a guy that when he was in high school, he thinks he hit 300 as a junior. I remember a lot more like 226. But his day and his son came in Cal. In '71, as you probably know, at Cal, he just set every record imaginable. And so that's nice to see, that kind of stuff.
How many played for the team in 1971? Woo! Anybody? Okay. It should be a short speaker because he only coached 1 year. And I don't know how well they did, but I might tell you a little bit about our next coach. His nickname is Rohan. Rohan was actually probably more in the Pacifica Sports Hall of Fame for being a basketball coach, but every now and then you had to grab a team just because nobody else would coach it. So this next speaker grabbed the reins of the Terra Nova baseball. But he did have a famous line. He coached Terra Nova basketball for a long time. As these guys over here will attest to, most of their seasons were 2-12. And then all of a sudden he goes to Jefferson High School and starts winning like NPL championships and playing in the Sacramento Arco Arena. And someone said to him, "Hey coach, how did you change in one season?" And he goes, "Well, I got a bunch of players now, they're 6'5", they can dunk." Hey, let's hear it for Bud Bresnahan.
I was lucky, I coached 1 year. I grew up in Pacifica, from high school, at Terra Nova, was the first graduating class. So I knew the baseball tradition was very good. I had been coaching cross-up. Coach Fedoni, Al, was very, very kind to ask about helping coach the cross-off team when he varsity coach at one time. And when he left, I was the varsity coach for 1 year, and I found it was too hard because I was also the varsity basketball coach. It was hard because the seasons were just too long. Talent-wise, you guys have been part of the program, or you know people in the program. There's been nothing like Terra Nova baseball since the school opened. It's clearly the strongest individual sport of any. My very first game, on Mark's very first game, I had a kid named Steve Shirley. I think he played, did he start with the Angels or? Dodgers, that's right. His old man was with the Dodgers, I think, too. Yeah. Anyway, Steve pitched for me. First game as a cross-off coach after Marty came up. And I saw Marty in school that we were away, and we came up and said, "How'd it go?" I said, "Well, it wasn't bad." He said, "How did Shirley pitch?" I said, "Well, he was okay. He threw 28 pitches, 27 strikes, and 1 ball. And he struck out the side all 3 innings." So the next day I come in, and Marty's got Steve on the varsity. So we still won the championship that year, despite that. I remember Al's team very well. There were some really good memories. The kids always played hard, and Coach talked about a little bit. A lot is owed to the Pacifica community. I played Little League in 1956. That allowed me to play varsity baseball at Terra Nova. I played at Westmore as well. And so it gave me a nice start. I played 3 years of college baseball at Central State University. It all came from being a 12-year-old playing in the Little League, because the people in Pacifica took the time to make it something important for their kids. And I don't care what coach talks about it, they know fundamentals and the way the game is played right began with the parents and the coaches for the Little League in Pacifica. It was really well run. This is our 50th year anniversary coming up in 2012, June 2012. I spent a lot of time in the district and a lot of good times with the Terra Nova community, and so I appreciate you guys coming out. I really enjoyed the fact that I was invited to come up.
We're going to get Coach Marty Coyle up here.
When I came to Terra Nova, I played at Terra Nova in the first class that actually started. A lot of people don't realize this. We started at Westmore High School on double sessions, and we were actually started as the Oceana Seahawks. That was actually our first name. And then halfway through the year, we became the Terra Nova Tigers, because Terra Nova was going to open up before Oceana was. And so I was in the group that went through the first freshman class, through the senior class. Then in 1971, I was playing ball in the Texas League, and I was pretty much convinced that my future in baseball as a player was limited. And I got a call from Bud and said, "Hey, you want to come back and coach at Terra Nova?" So I came back to Terra Nova, and I went through a lot of players at Terra Nova. As far as stories, not many of them can be told, to be honest. But we have, I would hope the players had a great time playing. And that was really what we were trying to do. We actually spent a lot of time on the field, and because of my schedule, I was able to take kids out early, and I would throw batting practice to them, and then we would have our practice. We ended up having some very good years with Shirley. We ended up playing in the CCS championship, and we got beat 2-1. And then in 1980, with the ball club I had, which was really a big physical team, with Steve Potter and Madsen and Ditlevson and Pedro and Pasalacqua and Jim Parquet. We ended up winning the CCS championship. And I'll tell you one thing. North Peninsula League Baseball, and Terra Nova especially, was as good as baseball as could be found in all the way to Gilroy, because remember, that's where our section went. All the way to Gilroy, it was as good a baseball as could be played at that period of time. Now, I don't know, I'm not around here now, so I don't know. But that ball, we could take on anybody, we could play anybody, and we could compete with anybody and recruit. El Camino winning CCS championship, Terra Nova winning CCS championship, and that included the Catholic school. So we were as good as anybody, and don't let anybody tell you that in that era, we were not one of the better programs in the entire Bay Area. So,
Ron Krieger was not only a great teacher and educator, but he ran the program for, 27 years. Come on up, Coach Krieger.
What I would like to do is tell you that back in the mid-90s, I did some research, being a history teacher. So I went back through the yearbooks in 1962, found them all, and started writing names down. Not any particular year, but just writing names down of all the players. Well, in the process of doing all of that, I found league records, I found cross-off coaches, I found varsity coaches, I found all the championships, I found all kinds of information. And what I did, and I will leave it up here for you to look at, I put this in this binder. And it goes back to 1962 with all players, and it amounts to approximately about 1,750 players that have gone through Terra Nova baseball. That's pretty amazing. I'll leave it up here, you can look at it. And in going through some stuff, Marty, you might recognize this. That's a scoreboard. Would you believe? Well, there was some names in it that I inherited when I got there. Names I don't know. These guys didn't play for me. But like Downing, I'm not sure which one because there was a whole bunch of you guys. Bender, Lusk, Pomapic, Zertucci, Scrapville, Lacey, Kenny, Bartlow, McGowan, I think if I pronounced it right, Ellison, Racanelli. Those were some of the names that were on this one game. I was told this was their sophomore year. They played San Mateo, and I don't know what the score was because I couldn't figure out what the scribble was on the bottom. Out of this 1,750 players that went through, where did some of these guys go? And that was kind of interesting when I started looking at this information. We had 5 guys who played Major League out of Terra Nova. Bob McClure for 18 years. Chris Morrow played during the strike. He was a replacement player. Mike Diaz played 4 years in the major and 4 years in Japan. Who? Steve Shirley, 1 year in the majors, 2 years in Japan. And we do have a Terra Nova graduate that's playing professional baseball right now, Greg Reynolds. He deserves it, folks. This is a first-class guy. Over the years, since 1962, Terra Nova has won 13 first places, 10 second places. The Frost-Off has won 22 first places. They've been to CCS, as you already heard. Marty won it in 1980, Al won it in 1969, and in 1994, I didn't do quite as good as them, but we finished second. So, I think you can see from this information, this research that I did, Terra Nova is a very, I feel, I was very proud to be part of this program. I met a lot of nice people, met a lot of nice friends. Thank you, I appreciate it, guys, love it.
If you went around through the since 61 to 2011, the alumni that are making a little bit of money around this town and pumping money back into the school, they're all baseball players.
Yep.
But Bill Gray told Joey Genitalia that he will be focusing more money on the baseball program. Here he is to tell you about the brand new baseball stadium.
When I first came to Pacifica over 41 years ago, trying to build a football program and so on, it became very clear that the integral athletic fabric of the city of Pacifica was baseball. And to this day it remains the same. And I think anybody who coaches any sport in Pacifica nowadays in high school has an appreciation of the role that baseball has played in the formative stages of the young athletes. Almost every youngster that plays any high school sport now, at one point or another, has played baseball in the city of Pacifica. And that's a credit to the kids. It's a credit to the town and the faith that it has in the game of baseball. And it's especially a credit to those people who have coached the sport and encouraged young people to play baseball from the start. It's truly amazing when you stop and think about it. So you're very fortunate to have been part of that culture here in Pacifica. And I think if you look at the legacy of Terra Nova baseball and where it started and where it is today under the tutelage of Coach Gentili, it's a wonderful thing. And we're all blessed to have been part of it. The other thing that you can't help but notice about Pacifica when you're a coach is the monumental community support that you get. The fact that you're all here this evening in support of Terra Nova baseball, and in a sense, the athletic program in general. It's a wonderful place to coach. And I'm sure these gentlemen here will attest to that, and I know that I certainly will too.
Believe it or not, we're done. I want to thank everybody for coming, supporting the Pacifica Sports Hall of Fame and Terra Nova baseball.
We're here with Joey Gentili, the current Terra Nova baseball coach. And Joey is sort of like the brainchild behind this whole anniversary party here at Nick's tonight. Joey, how did this get started with doing something like this to celebrate the 50th anniversary of that first baseball team?
Well, I think it came originally from you. You told me that it was the 50th anniversary, and that I was like the 6th coach in 50 years, and I couldn't believe that. You know, that was true, and we started talking and just thinking and planning, and thought we had to do something big for 50 years of Terra Nova baseball, and we started contacting people, and got bigger and bigger, and I'm very impressed how big this has gotten. You know, the alumni game today, we had got 100 players out there, so it's really grown real fast, so I'm excited about the whole thing.
Well, the breeze is drunk, hold the phone. The sun came out today. We're born again, the new breath on the street. Just around the bed, headed for home. He's a brown-eyed, handsome man. Anyone can understand the way I feel. Your turn, oh, pull me in cold. I'm ready. Took some lumps when the mighty case struck out. So say, hey, Willie, tell the cow and Joe.
Run outfield, run! Go, go, Dave! Go to Brad!